Welcome to the City of Clawson's council meeting for Tuesday, October 3rd. This meeting is called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Dear Father, thank you for the blessings you've provided to us as individuals, as families, and as organizations that fashion our city and state into a community of those who care and share with each other. We pray for all those who guide and govern. Help them and us to know and do the things that are right and fair in making vital decisions. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance. May there be peace and justice in every home. Each day brings new challenges, and we give thanks for the opportunity and ability to problem solve through prayer, thought, and action. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Lubes?
Here.
Councilmember Ayers?
Here.
Councilmember Horton?
Here.
Councilmember Olberg?
Here.
The first item, as always, is a consent agenda. On the consent agenda today are approving the minutes from our last city council meeting, reappointment of Jim Pine to the Historical Commission, appointment of Reese Scripture to the Planning Commission, accepting the resignation of Brad Orville from the Zoning Board, and reappointment of Cindy Smith to the Zoning Board.
Madam Mayor, I move the consent agenda be approved as listed.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Ayers?
Yes.
Councilmember Horton?
Yes.
Councilmember Olberg?
Yes.
Mayor Lubes?
Yes. The marvelous parts of our council meeting and meetings happens to be presentations from one group to another. So I'm happy to announce that our own Clawson Eagles held fundraisers throughout the summer and are here to present the money to Clawson Youth Assistance. So I would invite both representatives from the Eagles and Youth Assistance up to the microphone. So will you introduce yourself and say a little bit about the Eagles?
Hi, I'm Candy Ather-Putman. I'm with the Clawson Area 3926. This is Steve Rush. He's also with the Eagles. It's a fraternal organization, nonprofit, utilizing fraternity in the spirit of liberty, truth, justice, and equality to make human life more desirable by lessening its ills and promoting peace, prosperity, gladness, and hope.
Marvelous. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're pleased to be here this evening representing the Fraternal Order of Eagles, Clawson Area 3926. As part of our organization mission to make life better for people, we conduct various fundraising activities each year supporting charitable organizations consistent with the Fraternal Order of Eagles nationwide. During this year's Clawson Car Show, we held our annual live band event on Friday evening and corn roast on Saturday. Both events benefit from having a temporary patio permit, which the City of Clawson approves for us each year, and we're greatly appreciative. With tremendous support of local merchants, members, and friends of Clawson Eagles, we were able to conduct fundraising activities Friday evening to continue our support for Clawson's Youth Assistance Fund. And as a result of those activities and community support, we are pleased to present a check for $1,000 to the Youth Assistance Funds to help continue its goals of helping the youth in our community.
Thank you. And you're presenting to Ashley. Ashley, would you like to say a few words?
Hi, I'm Ashley Karras. I'm the Secretary of Clawson Youth Assistance, and I'd really like to thank them for this wonderful check so we can continue our great work in Clawson Youth Assistance for the youth of the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't go away. We're going to come down for a photo walk.
Equal opportunity.
That's right. There you go.
Apparently.
I think the lighting's better up here, even though you may not think so.
Shall we stay over there?
Okay, come up front.
Big smiles.
On behalf of Clawson Youth Assistance, thank you.
I want to see him try to cash that.
Thank you, Clawson Eagles. You've done a fine job raising the money for,
And then you just
well.
every-
Outstanding.
done- Yeah, very good. Appreciate it very
It's
much.
been a few years, but I remember the Eagles purchased a camera for the fire department. And, yeah, it was a Carnes camera. It was really nice.
It is, and youth assistance helps our kids in the community through a variety of activities, through sending kids to camp, overnight camp, day camps, skill building camps. We have skill building grants. We have family recreation activities. Our popular activities are going to Red Oaks Water Park and to the Tigers game. We have many more activities. We have family education, so at various times throughout the year, we will organize a workshop for parents that includes childcare. Upcoming on October 11th at 6 o'clock at Hunter, we offer our community network dinner, which is where all the nonprofit groups in the area come together, and each group is able to share information about the group. Part of the philosophy behind that is that we don't want to do the same things other groups are doing, and we can all work together for the same goal of helping each other in Clawson. So thank you. Our next item is an update by Kathy Leanhoutz, Director of our Recreation and Senior Services.
Hi. Good evening. I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention in the city of Clawson and those who visit our fine parks and use our recreation programs that we are compiling our 5-year master plan through Parks and Recreation. We need to do this every 5 years, and it's necessary if we apply for any kind of grants through the DNR, we have to have this on file with them. And it's also a good roadmap for us to see what the residents would like to see in their community. There's no guarantee we're going to be able to do everything that we put in the master plan, but it gives us a goal to work towards. So what I wanted to make sure that everybody knew, for the month of October, we have this survey out. You might see this little card around at the Hunter Community Center here, at City Hall, at the library. We pass some out at the Fall Fest on Sunday. The link is also on the City of Clawson website. You can go here. It's on SurveyMonkey, so you can take it. It takes about 5 minutes to do the survey. We want to hear from people what they would like to see in our community. If you don't have access to a computer or don't feel comfortable using a computer, we do have hard copies that you can get here at City Hall, the library, or Hunter. You can just fill it out and turn it back in at either any of those 3 places so that we can get your opinions on what you would like to see us work towards in the next 5 years with regards to our parks and our recreation programs. So I wanted to get that out there. The other note is that we have a city intern right now, Lisa Ball, and she has been very active in doing sort of like mini commercials on everything that we offer through our recreation program. And I really encourage you to take a look at them. She's done a wonderful job. They're little snippets giving an example of what kind of things we offer. You can go to YouTube, youtube.com, on the computer and type in City of Clawson in the search bar, and it will come up. And you can pick and choose. There's other things there, too, about the City of Clawson, but you will be able to see all the videos on the programs that we offer, talking about our parks and all that sort of stuff, too. So I just wanted people to be aware of that. Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
I want to thank you for a great job that you did yesterday. or Sunday, rather.
Yeah, well,
That
we.
was fantastic.
It was a wonderful day. Many, many people helped bring that together, the DPW, the fire department. We really appreciate everything everybody did, the vendors, and most importantly, the weather, because that is the key to an outdoor successful event. But thank you to everybody who came and supported it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is introduction of our Deputy City Clerk, Victoria Mitchell, an update regarding the city clerk's office in the upcoming election. So,
Yes,
would
Madam
you
Mayor and
prefer
Council.
to stay there or come to the microphone?
Do you want to speak or anything? Okay. That's up to you. Just like to formally introduce the new Deputy City Clerk, Victoria Mitchell. She's been on now for a couple weeks. She comes from the Royal Oak Review. Many in the city know her, and she's been a great addition. Has been really, I guess, hitting the ground running. I've kind of had her kind of just step in and jump in and kind of do a lot of different things. So here's her first meeting to kind of see how it is on this side. So I'd just like to formally introduce her as the new Deputy City Clerk.
Thank you. Welcome.
I'd also like to kind of just go into a quick update of since this is one of my times that I can speak. Thank you again for appointing me as the city clerk. I have cherished my time. I have welcomed the last 7 years as the deputy, now the city clerk. There are a lot of changes that have been going on, a lot of things that have happened. The biggest one is that we have new election equipment, and I have it out there in the city hall. All 83 counties will have new election equipment moving forward. We were able to receive federal and state funding to receive this. So we have new wonderful equipment. We are one of 11 counties that chose Hart InterCivic, which is what's out there. It's a lot smaller, a lot modern, a lot more modern. It's great, it's faster, it's wonderful. Feel free to try it out. I've had it here so far the last 3 days. People have been using it. There's a demo ballot out there that you can see how great it is. You get to select who your favorite president is, favorite color, and then at the end of the week, I'll say who won. So these will be the new equipment, like I said, that residents will be using moving forward. Tentatively, they said for about 15 years. So here they are. They're great. If you have any questions, we're excited to have these. So it replaces the old ones that had a lot of jams, had a lot of issues, and these are fully encrypted. All the things that responded to in these last elections that a lot of people had issues with or thought were problems. This new equipment has responded to that, and they're wonderful. Residents are able to come view them, like I said, through the rest of the week. So try it out. Again, tying into that, we have an upcoming November 7th election, of course. We are voting for mayor and voting for 2 council. The last day to register to vote is Tuesday, October 10th. So if you're not registered or if you have any questions, feel free to call the clerk's office and make sure that you're registered. You can register online, in person, via mail, or at the Oakland County Clerk's Office or Secretary of State's if you do that, of course, here at the City Clerk. We are trying to mail out the absentee ballots on Tuesday the 10th as well. We've had a lot of requests come in. So normally we average about 800 absentee voters each election in the smaller city elections. So we'll see how this goes. I think we're up to probably about 300 or 400 so far that have already returned the applications. The write-in filing deadline is Friday, October 27th by 4 p.m. And any questions, of course, always please feel free to ask Victoria or myself, and you can send us an email or anything like that. Our office does handle the social media and website. We've set up a Twitter account, Instagram, and YouTube to help with transparency and to allow residents and visitors to be able to view the important information and the commercials, like Kathy had stated, we're trying to put out there. After each meeting, we're trying to download so people who can't view it live can actually view the council meeting on our YouTube page to kind of give that further different types of access to have more transparency for all the meetings. And eventually, I think we'll move to having PC and ZBA on there as well, along with any of the other Hunter wonderful programs that done. They've had some for, I think, the 4th of July and other events that we posted out there to kind of further market and brand our city. We have been really trying to increase our presence on Facebook as well. Victoria has taken that role on, and hopefully we've seen an uptick in getting more information out there because we want to make sure that everyone knows what's going on in the city. The website was a labor of love and caused many headaches for myself, but hopefully everyone enjoys it. And as always, if there's, I welcome feedback. If there's anything missing or you're having trouble finding anything, please let me know. My main goal is to make it as easy and as, user-friendly as possible to get anything that you're looking for. So I can change links, move things around, so that we're basically trying to make it so the moment you go to the page, whatever you're looking for, it's like within 1 or 2 clicks that you can just click on it and find it, or do a quick search. So just let us know about that. I'm hoping to have our public service request portal active by the end of the month, along with the notification system. It's there, it's just not, there's some bugs in it right now, so I've been working on it, and then of course the election came in, so it's kind of trying to figure that time around, but we're trying to get that work so you can have any issues that might come up, because our old program, C-Click Fix, we've taken away because the new website kind of has that own function within it, so we're trying to get that out there. If you have any issues with potholes or trees or rats or anything, that they can send it to that, which we know that happens a lot. Our office does handle the human resources function as well in the city. So in taking over, I'm looking at increasing our training and outreach to the employees to help with various education and training opportunities to really help with that, to move us forward. I'm hoping as well to create a weekly or monthly kind of quick newsletter. I've noticed that other cities on the clerk's office, they kind of do like an after the gavel kind of thing. So after the meetings, they kind of give a quick overview on the Facebook page of like what happened. Again, it's kind of letting residents know who maybe weren't present or didn't watch things, that they can kind of see what's going on. So as the records department, kind of getting that out there and really being more transparent about things. We're trying a lot of different ways to reach out to residents and on as many platforms as possible. So that's why we're kind of doing all these things. Mark has given me the latitude, I guess, to kind of move forward with a lot of these grand ideas. Some of the future goals with the city that I was kind of handed, if you will, was over the next couple of years, we'll be updating the charter with some language for amendments. It's going to be a fun process, but we've tried in the past when Michelle was here, and some things weren't, just to bring the language up to date in a lot of our charter, not to change anything crazy, just to change a lot of, how currently a lot of things say he, so you're trying to change he to she, or, things like that to be more applicable to modern time. We're going to work on a marketing and branding plan with Susie over the next year. She and I have talked about things and how, again, tying in the YouTube, the Facebook, the social media aspects to kind of work with that, and how do you get more people in here, kind of tying that all together to really create a better branding and marketing for the city. And I'm also looking into the idea of a council live kind of discussion board, either when I publish the e-packet, to have residents to be able to submit questions. And so then on Monday or whatever, we can have, so if people can't be present, we can actually have questions. So during public discussion, you can bring them up and discuss them or whatever it is. Or even possibly, I know some cities as well have done live, so you can see like live while the meeting's going on. People can be asking questions. I know that some of these systems that we currently use, I think, have that ability. You just have to kind of look into it a little bit. We're working on just general updates for all forms, policies, applications, permits. We're really trying to streamline things, and we've even created a new email account that residents can email with general questions. It's just info@cityofclawson.com. So it's just an easier ask, because sometimes, things might get caught in spam filters or whatever. So if you just send any question you have to info@cityofclawson, we'll respond to it, and then we'll kind of pass it along. So my main goal, like I said, is just to streamline the office and help make any type of record available to anyone who might want it, and really bring us into the new age of technology. So I thank the council and fellow administration for, I guess, allowing me to help bring about some change, and for having the trust to, of course, appoint me to the city clerk. So thank you.
Well, we're glad you're here. And Victoria, you hit the ground running, so thank you. And it is nice to see a smiling face. Thank you. All right. Oh, any questions? All right, back to business. Our next item is regarding a proposed food vending ordinance, which refers to food trucks. About a year ago, city staff began looking at food trucks in response to requests staff were receiving by local food truck owners to operate in the city. Currently, there are no regulations in place that would permit food truck activity anywhere in the city. Food trucks are becoming popular in today's society. And we needed to have ground rules, so have a draft ordinance. There is a great deal of misunderstanding and misrepresentation regarding this ordinance. Let me preface this by saying nowhere in the ordinance does it say the city is looking forward to a permanent food truck court in the downtown, and nowhere does it say that food trucks will be parked in front of your business, as some people have been led to believe. The draft ordinance would allow food trucks to operate on private property in commercially zoned areas as long as they are legally parked and not taking up parking required for any other use. For public property, they can operate in those locations that council approves by resolution, but never within 50 feet of a brick or mortar restaurant when it is operating. What does that mean? It's from a standpoint of operating on public property, given the 50-foot spacing requirement, there are very few limited places at the perimeter of the public lots where food trucks would be allowed to park. If and only if council chooses to include these locations on the map of allowed locations that it be called on to create by resolution. As far as the very few private lots that exist downtown, food trucks may not be parked in any space required for the principal land use, and since very few of the private lots downtown have excess parking, the number of places where they could be permitted on private property would be very limited. What we're looking at is a way to monitor food trucks. There are many people in Clawson who enjoy food trucks. Food trucks have been at many of our events. Many of our brick buildings began with a food truck, but nowhere in the draft and nowhere has any city staff, council staff person said our intent is to have a permanent downtown truck location or food trucks parked in front of our businesses. We value our businesses. We are one city. We're not just a downtown. We have a downtown. We have a city. We can all work together to survive in Clawson. So that being said, we have some of our experts here to address some of the issues, and we also have a public hearing regarding the proposed food truck ordinance. So public hearing regarding the draft food truck ordinance is now open. And if you're interested in speaking, come to the microphone. You would state your name and your address and your comments.
Hi, Larry Johnson. I own Moose Winooski's down the street. I'd just like to voice my opposition to food trucks in the downtown area in any way, shape, or form. I don't think we have the sanitary facilities for them. I don't think we have bathroom space or anything available for these people if they come, and I'm sure they would. 50 feet is not very far. 50 feet is shorter than this room. It's not a big distance. To have these people come who pay no taxes, to be direct competition with the other restaurants and myself who have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in our businesses, to have these guys come in, grab it, and run. And if the people they serve make a mess, it's on the city to do it. If they create a problem, do we have enough policemen to take care of it? Do we have enough policemen to go out and every time someone makes a call and says, this guy's doing this, or this guy's 48 feet away, or any of that? I don't think it's a great idea. I think it's, I personally, I take it as an insult that anyone would want to bring a food truck in and park it 50 feet from my front door.
No, but this ordinance
Unless I owned a
doesn't.
food truck, then I'd be the first guy in the world to ask for a permit. What a gravy train. This is the greatest boon in the world. I can go stay 50 feet away. Man, this is great. I have no money in it. I can buy a food truck for 15 grand.
This ordinance isn't addressed only for the downtown, and if you think about it, where in the downtown would a food truck go? It's not designed for a permanent food truck.
In front of the drugstore next door to me.
In the parking lot?
Yeah.
No,
How about the public parking lot behind me?
No, that wouldn't be allowed either. We've had food trucks for events. We're looking to monitor the food trucks.
No.
We're not looking to bring food trucks and place them in the downtown area. I understand your concern. We value your business, but there is such misinformation out there.
Well, there
We're
is.
not-
Why are we talking about 50 feet from our door? I don't know if it's our door or the corner of our building or, you know, I don't know what that is exactly. But, so you're saying that the ordinance will not allow food trucks to park downtown? Unless it's a special event?
There is not going to be a permanent food truck downtown.
I'm still unclear. When you say there's not gonna be a specific food truck downtown, a permanent, or is this gonna be an ongoing thing? Can people buy a permit and park them downtown?
That is not our intent, no.
Okay, so it would be fair to exclude them from the downtown, other than a
We
special
haven't
permit?
reached that point yet. We have started on this road to monitor food trucks. This is a draft ordinance. It was not designed that we're going to have a permanent food truck downtown. No. We're going to allow them on a regular basis. No. We are monitoring the food trucks. There is a place for food trucks, and when we gather more of the information, it might be determined that food trucks are only at events. I am glad you're here to express what you hear about food trucks in the downtown.
Well,
But I'm telling you
been
the
very vague.
information.
It's all been very vague. From everything I've heard, has been very vague.
Right. There is no permanent food court. There is no permanent food truck coming downtown. There will not be a food truck weekly downtown. That is not the intent. We are going to monitor and license. And I could take it a step farther and say with any annual permit fee, it's a creative way for the city to earn some money.
Let me just say also, the ordinance itself has 15 different requirements that have to be met by an applicant. So it's not an automatic issuance of a license. There are criteria that have to be met.
I understand that. I'm just saying, I'm officially opposing food trucks downtown in anything but a special event. You know what, personally, I don't,
Thank
You know.
you.
okay, that's it, thank you.
That's fine.
Thank
It's
you for your
perfect.
time.
Oh,
to the
Rhonda,
mic,
come up to the
Rhonda.
microphone.
Oh, come on.
Mike, pick her up, bring her up here.
My name is Rhonda Banfield. I'm the representative of Tavern on the Main. I'm the manager. Tom and Sam are out of town right now. He asked me to come up here and represent him. And I totally agree with him that they should not be allowed in the downtown development. We've already given up enough of our area for being the downtown development, except for like when you hit the thing at like Black Lotus, that was fine. We have no problem, like when you guys do the movie, we let people use the parking lot, we enjoy that, we are very family friendly, but I agree with him. I had a food truck for years and leased it, and there's minimal amount that comes out of your pocket. And for you to be able to pull into a construction site or wherever, I mean, if you have them anywhere, have them on the other side of town by Crooks, down that way, where it's, you guys already have vacant buildings. Put them out there.
That, and I can't argue with you. The intent is not to bring food trucks on a regular basis to the downtown area. There
But you
is
keep
a
on
place
saying
for it.
regular basis. That's what I mean, why can't you just word it like he said? For just
I wish I was a
special-
dictator, and I could tell you that. I'm not. I'm a member of council, so it will be by majority after we get all the information. There is no intent to have a food truck on a regular basis downtown. There is no intent to have a permanent food court.
But the problem
There
with
is
it-
no intent to have a food truck outside of your business.
Okay, but we are the end of the downtown development. The wood pile is not part of the downtown development. That's where it's already a problem with that. And then you're gonna, so the food truck's gonna be right there. They're gonna want.
I don't see a spot for a food
Oh,
truck
all right,
there.
I'm just saying,
Again,
or whatever, okay.
there's been such misinformation out there. That is not the intent. We are a city. We have many different areas in the city, and it's not just about the downtown area.
I know, I mean, but you need to look out for the downtown people, because that's
Right,
where they're putting,
right.
those are the
You're
people
right.
that are putting the money into the city. The other ones, they're not, they're sitting there vacant buildings everywhere, in and out, in and out. You know,
Right.
and Tom's investing a lot of money, and like he said, he's insulted by it. And I agree, it's an insult.
There is no conversation in the draft ordinance that's aimed at the downtown. The intent is not looking at the downtown. We all patronize your business
Yes,
and other
I know,
businesses. We
I know.
love the businesses. We're not out to do any harm to those businesses. You're right, you have invested a great deal of money and worked within the city. They can recall the time when you put a sprinkler in and we took it out, and you put a sprinkler in, and
Right, and he
you
gave
had
out,
your share
he
of
gave out.
turmoil.
Right, so, I mean, I just would hate to see him leave the city because,
Right. Right.
he would leave.
Right. That,
So, that's all
that
I'm.
is not the intent.
Okay, all right.
There
that's
has
all.
been misinformation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rhonda.
Hello, my name is Mike Lang. I own Renshaw Lounge at 210 East 14 Mile Road. I guess the reason I'm here tonight is for clarification. I read the draft ordinance, and there were some issues, and I know it's early in the process. And I want to start out by saying I'm in favor of food trucks. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think it can create some vibrancy and some more foot traffic, and I've seen it work in other communities. And so I guess I'd start out with some questions first. Is the intention to create a map that says this area is okay and this area is not okay? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm going to defer to the gentleman to your right. One moment. He can stand up and answer.
This gentleman.
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
So that is the intent. The way the ordinance is supposed to work is that for public spaces, the council will have the ability by resolution to approve a map and can modify that map from time to time of the public spaces where food trucks would be allowed to operate. In terms of private spaces, the mayor read what the rules would basically be. If it's a legal parking place that is not required by the parking requirements for the principal use on that property, then a food truck could park there.
So would on-street parking qualify?
No, that's public space. So any street is all the public domain, any park is the public domain, and obviously municipal lots are all public domain. And so the council will create rules, and we intend a map of those places where they would be allowed to park. The ordinance was modeled after one that Traverse City did. And so if you look at Traverse City's map, they have very discrete places. In their case, there are, I think, 4 spots in their DDA, but none on Front Street, which is their main street.
Yeah, I've actually experienced it.
Yeah, well, they have a food truck court there as well, which is a different thing, as the mayor said.
Thank you.
That
We're
would be
not
that would
going
have
for
to
a
be
permanent food truck court.
that would have to be an amendment to the
Misinformation.
zoning ordinance. But in terms of what this allows, it allows them to, individual trucks to park in discrete locations if they're lawfully parked on private property, and then council, if they adopt the ordinance, would be able to approve a map of places where they could park on public property. So and going back to the Traverse City example, they got like those 4 little spots that are kind of on the periphery of their downtown, and then they allow them in all their public parks. And, they likewise allow them, they're quite liberal up there. They allow them on any place on private property. But, I think I spoke to the city attorney there who actually used to be our city attorney's associate at one time, so she's very familiar with Clawson. And I think they have 23 that have licenses, and 7 of those operate at the DDA.
And what would be the qualifiers for a spot that was chosen? Would it have to facilitate parking for customers, or what would make a spot good?
In terms of the public spaces?
No, just for a spot for a truck.
Well, as I say, the ordinance as it's currently drafted, if it's a legitimate place to park, and you're not, by parking there, taking up required parking for the business, so you'd have to have excess parking, then you can park there.
Okay.
But, like the mayor said, downtown, nobody has excess parking. Maybe the party store, I don't know. But, but other than that, I can't think of a spot where it could be.
So would that map be up for public discussion? Will that be presented, or is that something kind of done?
Right, no, that would be, and it hasn't even been contemplated at this
Right,
point,
we're at
what
the
that
very
would,
beginning of this process.
what that might be. But council would have that come before them at a council meeting and consider it. It's meant to be flexible, so they can adjust it from time to time as their experience shows that it's a good idea or bad idea. Right, so it's not being incorporated into the ordinance, so it's a law, and it has to be amended every time. But it would be done at a public
So if someone
meeting just like
qualified
this.
to vend in the city at large, if they wanted to do so in the downtown, they would have to be at one of these designated spots. Would it just be first come, first serve, or would people be assigned spots, or how would that work?
You know, we haven't decided that yet,
TBD.
but for sure, you're right, it would have to be in a designated spot.
Okay. And then what about liquor licenses? I heard there's some.
Yeah, no, I did see your comments, and that appears in there only in the sense, that it was never in my contemplation, really, but it appears in there in the context of the kind of insurance you would have to have if you were vending liquor. I can't really conceive of that. You know, I can't conceive of somebody getting a license to allow that, and it really wasn't the intent to allow serving alcoholic beverages. I don't, you know, I think it's up to council, obviously, but from my standpoint, I'd be fine with, you know, not allowing the sale of alcoholic beverages.
They'd have to work through the state as well.
Right, well, you have to have a liquor license to do it, right? So it seems like a pretty high hurdle to get over.
Sure. All right, well, that addresses most of my concerns. I just had questions. I want to understand it a little better, which I do.
I'm glad you came. My annoyance comes from the misrepresentation and misinformation that was out there. We are in no way targeting any business or the downtown area.
Yeah.
This is a way to keep track and monitor the food trucks.
Yeah, and if
Earn a little
we can
money
all,
in the
and if we all
process.
continue to
And you're right.
participate.
There's a different clientele for each group.
Yeah.
People who like Mediterranean will go to Montage. Different restaurants in our area have certain age groups that travel to their bars, and the food trucks have a following there. It's not generally the same customer who's going to go to a sit-down restaurant.
Right.
But the intent is not to, we're not looking at the food trucks in the downtown area. It's the city as a whole. We are, and I continue to repeat, we are one city.
Of course. And I think, you know, with the business owners having the ability to participate in the map, in the process, and be able to give feedback and offer concerns, you know, as long as we're engaged, everyone's interest should be covered. But like I
And
said,
all information is good information as long as it's factually based and not misinformation.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Richard Myrick. I'm actually not a resident of Clawson. I lived in Clawson in 1992. I'm currently living in Farmington Hills, but I run a website called mobilecuisine.com. I've been covering the food truck industry since 2010. I also wrote or authored the book Running a Food Truck for Dummies, and when I found out about this public hearing, I felt that as an advocate for the industry that I might be able to come and share what I've learned over the years. Food trucks certainly are not going to get people to start canceling reservations at sit-down restaurants. Nobody's going to walk past a taco truck and cancel their reservation for a steak dinner. Food trucks do help spur community involvement. It draws foot traffic to communities that don't have it on a regular basis. I've seen food trucks come and go. I was part of the push to get food trucks to be able to cook in the city of Chicago. The restrictive ordinances that they have in place is crushing the industry there. Why is it? It's because you've got aldermen in the city of Chicago who own restaurants and look at food trucks as competition, which they are not. The only thing that closes a restaurant, bad food, bad service, bad cleanliness. Food trucks aren't involved in that. Food trucks have been around the city of Los Angeles since the 70s. Not a single restaurant that I've been able to track down can claim that a food truck or a group of food trucks has closed their restaurant down. What the food trucks do is they're small business owners. They're about as small as you can get. Most of them start off as a single or a couple of people in this business. From there they grow, maybe a second truck, maybe a third truck. Most of them get into the industry so that they can open restaurants. When a food truck owner works in a city that is friendly to food trucks, they're going to be there more often. They're going to have fans that are there from that particular city. And when they do open their restaurants, they might end up being the meanie weenie who is opened here in Clawson, who started as a food truck. The restaurant owners, I understand where they're coming from. I do. But to say that it's unfair competition, a food truck is a food truck. It's got a 60 to 80 square foot kitchen. They don't have tables. They don't have linen tablecloths. They don't have utensils other than the plastic ones that they get at the shop. So to say that they're going to just roll in and steal business, the business isn't the restaurants. It's something they have to earn. And if a food truck can steal business away from an established restaurant, maybe it's time for them to look at their menu and get their service up to par. As far as the question about the liquor license, to my knowledge, there's been one food truck across the country that's gotten awarded a liquor license. The only time that happened was at Tavern in the Green in New York City, but they were required to have an area that was designated for their customers to drink from. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. And the other thing about the buffer that you're talking about, the 50-foot buffer, keep an eye on the city of Baltimore. Currently, the Institute of Justice, which is a libertarian law firm in Virginia, is suing the city. They have a 300-foot buffer in place. Now, granted, it's much larger than the city of Clawson. But I have a feeling if that case is won, the buffers that are across the country will be challenged.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Well, I've got a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, my name's Jim Horton. I've been in Chicago, New York, L.A. L.A. food trucks are prevalent. They're on. You can stand in front of the Staples Center and see 5 or 6 of them within a couple of blocks. Chicago, maybe a couple around the McCormick Center. New York, I didn't see too many in Manhattan, but I mean,
Go to any street corner and you're going to see a cart.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
okay.
the
I'm
city.
talking your general big GMC van type thing serving hot dogs, whatever.
Yes.
I'll tell you what I'm not a fan of, and I've got nothing against the mobile food industry, and it isn't as much as having one downtown for special events. It is someone having a vacant lot and having an agreement with someone where a truck can pull up and serve, and whether it's an approved area or whether it becomes an approved area, and the property owner pays taxes on a vacant lot, gets a little bit of money for allowing the food truck to park there, and pays virtually no increase in taxes while allowing a food truck to be parked there for whatever period of time. So personally, I have no problem with them being in a park for a special event, or maybe farmer's market, or in another area, or hosting a rally at some point during the year in an area to be determined. But I'm afraid it would be, to me, I'm not a fan of them having them anywhere, at least not downtown. And you're right, I don't think they're a real threat to brick and mortar, but out of respect for the brick and mortar restaurants who've invested tens, sometimes $100,000, and have employees, and whether a taco truck is going to steal business away from somebody who's serving a steak isn't really the issue. It's just, I see them in L.A. again. You've got a huge parking structure, a huge business where you've got hundreds of employees, and they've got a half an hour, 45 minutes to eat. They can run out to the corner, get something, and get back to their desk. That's what I see a food truck as being a service for. And they can't get to a restaurant. But I just don't see the need for them here.
But you're arguing with him, and he's
No, I'm
just
not
presenting
arguing.
some
I'm
information.
he's.
No, I
he's-
completely
no,
understand.
I'm trying to, I'm picking his brain. I'm not arguing with him. He's not.
Thank you.
Did the city stand up when Redbox came in?
Pardon?
Did the city stand up against Redbox? When Redbox was invented to protect all of the video stores in town?
I think the video stores were of their own volition, but that's a different.
But again,
it's a
what you're
different
doing
animal.
is you are protecting one business interest over another. How do you know there aren't people in the city who would be interested in opening a food truck if they could operate it in their own town? How many restaurants? One of the biggest trends in the industry right now are restaurant owners that are opening their own trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
We have
Because
a couple
they're able
that
to
have their own trucks.
They're able to go to the festivals. They're able to go to different street corners in different cities to do different test marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, what's ending up happening is you've got the city protecting one business over another business model.
I don't believe that. We have, in our community, everybody's pretty close here. We're a small city.
I understand.
Everybody works their fanny off to do what they want to do, whether it's the bars or restaurants or what have you. Now, I personally would not want to see one of these things down in downtown at all. There's just not enough room, there's not enough parking, and I'm not worried about our businesses. Our businesses all serve good food, and they're clean.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when these roach coaches, they don't have a bathroom with them? What happens to all the stuff that goes all napkins and everything that goes all over the place?
Well, most cities across the country actually have their ordinances require that a truck picks up the dirt and filth that is created by their customers around their truck during their service and after their service. Most trucks don't operate more than 3 hours for a single shift.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't have the merchandise to sell for that long a period of time. They're generators. They're not able to run for long extended periods of time. So they do leave. It's not like they're going to park there and sit there all day. That just doesn't work. And here's the other thing. If the people of Clawson, ultimately, all a food truck is another choice for the residents of the city. If the city of Clawson residents don't go to the food trucks won't be coming back.
Okay. I think the mayor is correct, Councilmember Harris. We're picking his brain, and
Right.
we're assuming that he's the definitive source for food trucks. But and you're certainly knowledgeable. But it's it's a different animal here. I think it's not just the restaurants that aren't especially happy. It's a lot of the businesses are wondering where their customers are going to park for the periods of time that the trucks
if
may.
parking is absolutely, if parking is
Yeah, we don't have enough
restricted,
parking now in certain areas, so it's just
absolutely.
not.
But to come right out and say that they're going to steal or be competition. I've seen a lot of trucks partner up with bars who don't have kitchens, or their kitchens shut down at 10 o'clock. It feeds the customers. It keeps people in those businesses that do keep paying taxes. I've seen food trucks partner with businesses that are doing grand openings. They feed their customers. They co-brand. They sell a taco, go into the jewelry store and get a discount. There are ways that food trucks are being used around the country that isn't just parking in front of a restaurant. 99% of the food trucks wouldn't park in front of a restaurant. It makes no sense to them on a business standpoint, because most of the foot traffic in front of a restaurant is either going in or walking past. Food trucks are destinations. Restaurants, they're destination locations, but people will actually come from outside of the city into an area where they know food trucks are. There are food trucks that are followed by millions of people who have basically had lines start up before they get there because of the food that they're serving. And it's nothing about the restaurants in the city. it's a different generation out there. And again, food trucks provide them with another choice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. So my name is Reese Scripture. I live at 148 Park Drive. I am not a business owner. I'm not a food truck expert. However, I eat. And I'm not going to delve into the fray here with the downtown thing. What I will say is three things. I live by the park, and I know that a lot of people come either from Clawson or Troy and a lot of places, and they will bring their lunch, they'll brown bag it, they will sit at the park, they will go to the picnic tables. Lots of people eat at the park. I walk my dog there at lunchtime. So I say, I do not go downtown for lunch. I hate driving. I hate getting, I work from home all day. I won't go downtown for lunch. I don't like to go to a restaurant. I like to grab something and go if I'm going to do anything. I would walk to the park at lunch. And you said public spaces. I've heard the word park. I would love to see food trucks in the park. That would be fabulous. And I think they might do well. Like he said, if they don't do well, they won't come back. But I think it would be a worthy experiment. I've heard the arguments about the garbage and, all these other things. I walk through the park in the morning, I walk through the park at night, and I see all sorts of garbage left by the kids playing soccer, and I see all sorts of, I'm picking up bottles all the time and leftover, food wrappings. Garbage happens. Garbage happens no matter what we do. You're not going to start banning children from playing soccer and all of the other stuff that goes. I've seen the skate park. They leave the garbage behind. People aren't happy about that. Stuff happens. I even see garbage sometimes after the farmer's market. I mean, people try, but it just happens. I don't think that's really the best reason there's ways to get around that. And I also think the third thing is that there's some really smart people here. I think that we could figure out a way to do this that doesn't harm the business, that maybe gives something a chance, an opportunity, try something new, and build it. Maybe we'll come, maybe we won't, and if we don't, they'll go away. And if we do, it might be something really successful. I would love to see a food truck in the park. I don't know about the rest of the spaces. I would just love to see something in the park. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Joan Horton for the DDA. We did invite, we discussed this at our last board meeting, and we did invite business owners to come and talk. And the ordinance had been sent to them weeks earlier. When the draft came, I asked Mark if I could send that out to businesses. So we sent it first to restaurant owners, and then I heard, well, you can't just do that because, of course, they're going to be against it. So it went out to all the businesses downtown. It went out without comment. It went out with the city is considering this ordinance. Please read it. If you have questions, if you have comments, send them in. So I don't know where the misinformation comes other than people who didn't read it. I've never heard anything about a permanent food court. So I don't know where that, I didn't hear that. The businesses that read it, that came to the meeting, said they objected to them downtown. Not because they fear competition. They have never, ever said, oh, no, you can't let another restaurant come in here. They support each other. It was the feeling that something movable could come in. I understand that this is a draft. 50 feet away did not seem fair, and I understand those spaces that's going to be limited in where you can even find that spot, but it does mention the public spaces, which would be the municipal parking lots, even if it's just a few spaces. And that's where the other business owners who are non-restaurant objected. We know that by the parking study that we have enough number of parking spaces downtown, but when you own a business and your customer comes in and they couldn't find a space behind your business or on street in front of it, and they don't want to walk cross 14 Mile, cross Main Street, and go to an opposite, they feel there's no parking. And when that business owner looks out and then sees that there could be a food truck parked out there taking up any space that their customer should have access to, they were not in favor. I heard at our meeting, in fact, it was Larry that said, food trucks, God bless them. No problem. Not downtown. Put them in the park. Put them other places. There are a lot of places where it makes sense. where try it out. Nobody was against food trucks. They were just against having them downtown. So just wanted to, I hope that clarifies your misinformation. But people get to talking, and who knows where that came from. But it was not sent out by the DDA. We sent something out again without commentary. Just here's the ordinance. Let us know what you think about it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Regardless, the misinformation remains in abundance, so I'm glad that we're having the public discussion to clarify the facts. Anyone else for public discussion? Thank you for coming. Yes?
Oh, sure. Pay for this Dennis Eaflin, I'm a resident of Clawson. I happen to volunteer some time and work with Joan a little bit as well in the DDA. I love to debate and argue when there's something to be argued about, but from everything I know and read in the ordinance draft, it just seems too early. And to me, this is just a basic decision of, does Clawson want to explore expanding the possibility of some more foot traffic in the community, not necessarily downtown? I totally understand some of the business concerns, but do they want to explore some more foot traffic, some more possible publicity? Sorry, this gentleman's right. My wife works at an agency. Every single person has the app to follow food trucks. They go where they are. So the Clawson community could get a lot more PR, press, foot traffic, a lot of things in the right way. I would want it done in the right way as well. I just think it's too early to be kind of fighting back and forth, but I would encourage the exploration of where they could be on a map, what it could mean for some potential for more foot traffic without disrupting businesses. But I think I would encourage, I guess my encouragement is to keep going on the exploration. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public discussion? All right, public discussion is closed. On to our next item. The Clawson High School submitted an application to hold a pep rally and bonfire for homecoming tomorrow, October 4th, at the park. There are many activities at the park tomorrow, beginning at 4 with different sports activities, ending with the pep rally and bonfire about 8:30.
Madam Mayor, I move the request by the Clawson High School to hold a pep rally and bonfire for homecoming in the city of Clawson on October 4th, 2017 be approved.
Support.
Any comments? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Horton?
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht?
Yes.
Mayor Lubes?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
The next item is a proclamation recognizing October 8th through 14th as Fire Prevention Week throughout the city of Clawson. Our fire department will host an open house on Sunday, October 15th from 12 to 3 in honor of Fire Prevention Week.
Madam Mayor, I move the week of October 8th through the 14th, 2017 be proclaimed as Fire Prevention Week in the city of Clawson.
Support.
Any comments?
I have a few, as you might imagine. I would like to thank the fire department and those fire department members with full-time jobs who take vacation time off to go into all of the elementary and in some cases the middle schools to do programs, fire prevention programs for the kids. It goes on all day, including guardian angels all the way through all the public schools, and they go to the schools almost every day. And it's a big thing, and I think it's our fire prevention program here in town is a big reason that our fire loss has become less and less each year. So I just, a big thank you to the fire department, and don't forget the open house on Sunday. It's always a blast.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Albrecht?
Yes.
Mayor Lubes?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Horton?
Yes.
The next item looks at the bills to be paid in the next 2 weeks.
Madam Mayor, pay the bills.
Support.
Questions on the bills? Roll call, please.
Mayor Lubes,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht.
Yes.
City Attorney's report.
Oh, just one item. Bauman is at rest, and
I'm sorry, Bauman is what?
Bauman is at rest,
Oh,
Is it burned
tell us
down?
more, tell us more.
meaning that it's resolved and the administration is working very hard to get the demolition company in to tear it down. I want to thank the residents who volunteered and who we interviewed to prepare them for the hearing. They stepped up to the plate. They were great. They were wonderful in their description and preparation, and the frustration that they've suffered over the past couple of years regarding this site. So hopefully it will be down in the immediate future.
Would you estimate within the month or more than 30 days?
It depends on, whether you can get a demo company that's not tied up with something at the moment, and we're working on that. I think the best thing we can do is follow through on that and then advise you by email about the demo company. The provision does allow for the owner to go on site for no more than 3 hours to remove things, but she's not going inside. It is condemned. The condition inside is definitely hazardous because of the mold. Her attorney asked for a week for her to remove things from the interior, and I indicated that would not happen because the city's not going to be liable, nor are we going to allow her to enter a situation that we know to be dangerous. So she wants to remove some items from outside, and that can be done. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a long road, so hopefully this is the beginning of a happy ending.
Well, you and I started out with hoping it would be one, but we now have it.
Yes, thank you.
John, is it possible that once the demolition date is set, that you could let us know?
Yeah, we'll let you know, and we'll probably let the residents know, too, who stepped up to the plate. Yeah.
Couldn't we use that as a practice with the fire department?
I wouldn't.
No,
No.
not with the condition it's in. Absolutely not.
No.
Because they'd have to take off, open the windows for practice, and you don't want that mold going around.
We've done it in the past, but I would be afraid to walk on that floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
You can't walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
It's as bad as that.
Gone through a floor before, I care not to do it again.
Thank you, John. It only took 6 years, 7 years.
I would never admit to that. I'd say it's been a protracted period of time.
Well, it has.
Do it, that's
And
okay.
I got to thank you for all the help you did this. And I know the residents
thanks
there
for
in
your
Bowman love
patience.
it.
I'm surprised they're not
And the
here.
public.
Popping
Thanks for your
champagne.
patience.
City Manager's report.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I did have a few items. First one I wanted to mention is the soccer facility on Coolidge will be closing for recycling drop-off materials on October 7th. That's to facilitate the changeover and the build-out of the building to convert to single-stream recycling. They've tried many avenues to try and accommodate residents for drop-off, but they have not come up with a solution. So as of the 7th, you will not be able to drop items off at the Troy facility. Your regular recycling, you can put in the bins. They'll continue to pick that up. But what they're asking is if you have metal items and other things, that you hold those until the facility's back open. And right now, it looks like it'll be late November. So if there's a solution in the meantime, we'll let people know. But at this point, plan on not having use of that facility for drop-off, paper shredding, metal items, books, until late November once it closes on the 7th. I will be requesting, in fact, I have requested PFM, who is our bond advisor, to present the process to petition the Department of Treasury for us to issue pension obligation bonds. Good news is MERS actuary did approve our 15-year request for amortization. What that does is extends the period of time we have to pay back our unfunded accrued liability, which is, I think in market dollars, is around $15 million. The best news is that if this happens, we fix our payment for 15 years at a rate that's lower than what we're paying now. So that gives us that wiggle room we need to operate, and we don't have to go back to voters and ask for more money. So it's really a win-win. And they will be, I asked today, and she was out of town. Kari Blanchett's the one that'll be handling it on behalf of PFM, but I asked her if it would be a workshop or presented at a council meeting, and as soon as I know that, I'll let council know, and we'll get that set up. And then the other item I had is there was mention of Lisa Ball doing a lot of good work with video and presentation. She is going to come in, and I don't know how sexy I can make sidewalk bonds sound, but she's gonna do an interview, and I'm going to present the information that I have, try and make it as pointed and not so boring as it can be, to give residents who don't know what we're doing and why we're doing it information as to the history a little bit. It's been 10 years since we started considering sidewalks and collecting a fee, but I really want to give information and let residents know why council chose this path for a bond and why we'd like to see it get done quicker, and the obligation again being, you know, I say it a lot, this community amazes me with the attitude that everyone has, that we're all in this together, and to, you know, pool monies and to do things in the way of a bond that would help the community-wide is tremendous. And we've been very lucky to have the support of residents here when we do that. And this is just another example of that. It's, you know, it's a proposition for people to say, well, you know, I've talked to people in the 40% that's already been done that have called me and said, I've already had all my sidewalks done, but I favor this because the rest of the community needs to have their sidewalks done. So again, I just I commend this community for the support they've given bond issues and everything else we've done, and I commend council as well, because it's not an easy decision to ask taxpayers for money, but the way we fashioned the debt service to try and keep taxes continuing to drop, I think, again, creative, and hopefully, you know, will garner enough understanding and support from people that they'll understand what it is exactly that we're trying to accomplish. So she'll be here Thursday, and hopefully we'll get that on YouTube, VOD, and cable relatively quickly after that, because we're about a month away from the election. So it'll just be additional information. I know there's information on the website now, but you know, maybe a video presentation will help people understand it a little bit better. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Any other business? On to new business. Upcoming October 7th is Oktoberfest at Guardian Angels, begins at 4:30. Historically, a band called Polish Muslims have been there, and if you haven't heard them, I would invite you to come and listen.
They're hilarious.
October 11th, 6 o'clock at Hunter, is our community resource dinner. You can RSVP to Youth Assistance or me. It's an opportunity for groups in Clawson to share with other groups on what you're doing and how we can all work together. October 15th, Sunday, noon to 3, is the fire department open house. It's the same week that leaf collection begins in Clawson. October 24th, 7:30 in the morning, is the prayer breakfast at Hunter, sponsored by Clawson Community Coalition. Again, representatives from our local churches and area churches will be there with a prayer for our community, our state, our nation, our world. And you'll be out by 9, but enjoy a breakfast with us. October 28th is trick-or-treating in the downtown area. Pub crawl is that night. It's also the same night as the Optimist Halloween party at Baker. October 29th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. is a trick-or-treat trail at Clawson City Park, where local groups and businesses hand out candy to kids in costume accompanied by a parent who trick-or-treat around the wood chip trail. So historically, we've had about 1,500 kids. If the weather's nice, we'll have more. If the weather's not so nice, we'll have a little bit less, but it's a lot of fun for everyone. Anything else?
No, I just wanted to say great job to Mark, though, on working with getting the bond issue for our uncrewed liability for our retiree health care. It was a very savvy move on your part to save the city a lot of money, and
I appreciate the thanks. It's, you know, you try, and I've been doing numbers for 30 years, and you try and get people to review things using common sense. We're really the poster child for this type of bond. I know a lot of financial people recommend against bonding for something if you don't have to. But in our case, when you realize our funding will go, in the next 5 years, will go up about another $700,000 more than we're paying this year if we don't do anything, it's impossible. With our revenues hardly increasing at all, less than 1% the last 2 years, it was just a proposition where we couldn't afford those payments. And I appreciate what MERS is doing. I'll commend Sue Feinberg and their CEO, Krista Rose, because they work directly with Treasury to find solutions for communities that are facing this. And, you know, every community that has a defined benefit pension plan, whether they've closed to new hires or not, which we did back in '99 and then the police in '04, needs this type of solution to be able to survive. And for us, it's good that Treasury's looking at it, and it's great that MERS was willing to say, look, we're going to go to bat for you with Treasury. Their CFO knows someone in Treasury, and it's a good thing that they're, first of all, allowing us to consider something like this and letting the council make the call on, we'd like to do this. But like I said, when you look at the numbers, you realize it just makes good sense. And I appreciate the fact that they realize that, and they're willing to allow us to bond. Some of the communities around Royal Oak did pension bonds, and they did their OPEB liability, but they had a lot of wiggle room for debt. I mean, you know, I said before, we have a lot of debt here, but this is actually debt that's going to help us save money. So I appreciate the fact that the states and our pension holder is actually willing to work with us to get this done.
Thank you. All right, the floor is open for public discussion.
Hi, my name's Dakota, and I live on Roth Street.
Welcome.
I'm sorry.
Take your time.
I think I had misunderstood this earlier when I read that about the Clawson pep rally.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you guys give us permission to have pep rallies at our school, or is that based on the school itself, or is it just because it's at Clawson Park right now?
It's just because it's at Clawson Park right now. So the school sets its own agenda and its own activities. Clawson is unique because the city owns the park, which is where the football field and stadium is. Generally, in any other city, the school owns the football field and area that's on, but not in Clawson. Mm-hmm. So we do work together with our school system. Mm-hmm. In reality, the school and city work together because people might move here for the school system. People might move here for the activities within the city, and we work together. In our society with limited revenues that each business or group has, we do need to be collaborative and creatively think of how we can continue with our services for a good cost.
Of course. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Joan for the DDA again. Just want to make you aware that tomorrow, speaking of the schools, they are going to be decorating the intersection at 14 and Main for homecoming. So I think that's pretty exciting. It's something we've been working on, getting the schools to want to, do something and get their name out there so people know that the team's playing and who the team is. So they will be they'll be down there tomorrow, and the decorations will stay up until after the game. So, and just on another note, that we have activities for Halloween, Trick or Treasure, which has gained a really good following as an allergy-friendly event on October 28th, noon to 3, and then the Great Pumpkin Crawl, which is in the evening for the adult kids. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, public discussion is closed. One last item on the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Ayers?
Yes.
Councilmember Horton?
Yes.
Councilmember Albrecht?
Yes.
Mayor Loops?
Yes. See you October 17th.